Hey y'all, so we are going to get completely just right into it. I'm coming in with just high energy because I felt in my last Potomac review, since I just was waking up, I was like, oh God, I promised to do this review at like 11 o'clock, but I got up at like 10:15 or whatever. But yeah, thanks to Celsius, I am back for a more livelier review. So yeah, this is my review for Married to Medicine, season 11, episode 12. I have my mod in the chat in case people get reckless about their opinions, because this is what it is. It's my opinion. It's my opinion. It's my opinion. Sorry if y'all listening in headphones. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to make y'all know that I'm up this review because I have to be, because there was just so much in this episode. Like, I really did not enjoy it. I'm sure some of y'all did, but I just did not enjoy this episode. But let's get into it. So we left off on the cliffhanger of the potential skirmish between Dr. G and Kang. Spoiler alert, it was a nothing burger. Nothing happened. He just took his shirt off, threw his glasses down, and ran up on him like he was going to do something, but he didn't. But you got Dr. Greg like going backwards or whatever. Didn't even connect. Nobody connect. And the thing is, they were hyping this whole thing up since like the beginning of the season. I guess we're like, what, 12 weeks in now? And this is what they led up to? I mean, he could at least, like, I don't know, connected or something for y'all to be doing that. God, I don't know. It's not, I'm glad that violence didn't happen, but just the way they were just hyping it up, you would have thought it was just something a little bit bigger. That's all. We see production and the cast break it up. Now, there's a lot of things you got to pay attention to in this moment, because I had to rewind it, or I just noticed on my second watch that Sweet Tea is yelling at King, and then Quad is telling her to go to her husband. Like, I guess Sweet Tea, was running like Sha'Carri Richardson over to like where the brawl was supposed to happen. And yeah, she's walking back in Dr. Greg's direction. We then see Quad and Eugene trying to calm King down. King tells Quad that G told him that he told her to shut the F up. Now, we know that didn't happen. It didn't happen. Like, personally, to me, you have a big effing mouth is very different than shut the F up. That's what I think. They're two different things. And if we rewind back to the pool party, Quad initiated that. Like, Greg was minding his business. He did not want to address his ex whatsoever, even though they were conveniently sat right behind each other, like right next to each other, inches away from each other. But yeah, like, I still don't think that was Dr. G's fault. But hey, that's just me. I get, we're going to drag Dr. G later or whatever, because no one said that this man is a good person. I'm just going by what I see. And, I try to do things very black and white, and maybe we can try to see the nuance in things. But I'm just saying that two things can be true. I feel like that needs to be said a lot. Anyway, I would say that if he told her to shut the F up, that would have crossed the line. And I think a lot of people would have been like, oh, whoa, it don't have to go that far. Like, you would have known the difference with him saying, shut the F up to everybody, like, around the group hearing this. Like, everyone knows that he said, you got a big effing mouth. Anyway, so there were two other opportunities I think that King could have addressed this, because we see in the flashback when Dr. G said that, King was looking at him directly in the face. So that was one opportunity to be like, you know what? You guys shouldn't address each other. And, he should have said, babe, don't talk to your ex, because you're going to put me in a position where I'm gonna have to whip his ass. So I don't know. Like, I just feel like this could have been averted. And then the second time he had a chance was around all the guys. Dr. G was already in his face about it. But they said everything was good. Be good, you know? So yeah, it's just wild that in the confessionals, we see that Quad took no ownership, none, as to how all this got started. And yes, I will say this was a very triggering episode on multiple fronts. This show is triggering for me. I don't like what they are doing to Letitia and Dr. G. It's disgusting. I do believe that they love each other. The deflection from Elaine, Jackie, who is Elaine? Is that some shade? Also, we have 100 people in the room and we're only 5 minutes in. And you know, I did not address on my YouTube what I think of Dr. Heavenly and her statement. I might do a different episode for that. I might. I don't know yet. I just didn't want to address it. I might address it on the Patreon because that's where I can really say what I want to say. Anywho, I see what you're saying, Mia Cocroft, but how they're treated as to how Dr. G treats Sweet Tea, they're two different things, I think. Because I really do think that, I don't know, I didn't like how he treated Sweet Tea. Like, Sweet Tea, I just have so much, like, just, do I want to call it pity? I just feel sorry for her that she's getting it from her own relationship and then she has no support from the cast. Like, I feel like she has minimal support from Phaedra and Contessa, but I just feel like Sweet Tea is on an island and I really don't think she understood what she got herself into. So, first time you're catching me on a live? Thank you for joining me. Well, get comfortable. You know we're all going to be watching Beverly Hills tonight, so I made sure to do this review before that because you know I'm ready to drag something about that wallet comment because I'm like, girl, really? Is that what we're doing? I don't know. We'll see. I got to make sure we see the context of it. But back to this review. We're with Sweet Tea being calmed down now by Mimi, Contessa, and then Phaedra, who is apparently speaking tongues. Now, I can see how it can be comical, but I guess once Contessa started praying, that's when shit got spiritual. Side note, why is Damon and Eugene hugged up throughout all this? Y'all notice that? I just thought it was weird. Carry on. The other ladies are looking on in confusion as Phaedra is speaking tongues. We even see Apollo saying he's known her since 1997 and he hasn't known her to do something like that. And some people online were saying, well, Phaedra, I mean, she's from the church. Her mom is a pastor. Is it really shocking? And that's what made me think, oh, well, maybe it isn't shocking. But look, I don't know. That's some people's religion. I'm not going to make fun of speaking tongues because, look, it ain't my thing. Like, even though I'm not the most spiritual person, that doesn't mean I gotta like talk about anybody else's religion. That's just how I am. Just don't be putting things on me. Sweet Tea and Greg are leaving the trip. Like, that's just a given after this melee happened. On their way back, they had to catch separate boats. Now, I'm not sure why everybody was saying, oh, this was crazy, when this is exactly what y'all mofos wanted. Like, I don't understand that. Y'all literally was creating a hostile environment for people. And Sweet Tea, again, is being the scapegoat, like, because Heavenly can't stand or respect her. I don't understand that. Like, all Sweet Tea said to Heavenly was, why did you invite Apollo and his wife in the first place? Because there was no reason for them to be invited on this trip. There's no reason for them to even be on the show. Let's just start there. How any way you spin it, like Apollo and his mistress slash wife slash estranged wife should not have been there. Period. So then it's the next day. Not sure whose room this is, but it's Heavenly and Simone preferring to talk to Apollo and Shireen. They're popping in just to talk to them before they leave. Heavenly apologizes to them, saying she didn't expect that drama to happen. Girl, like as we can see, present day and on this show, Heavenly's apologies don't mean shit. And I would like to say, like, just referring to her apology, her most recent one, I would like to see action in that. Like, I just really can't take her apology at face value, because what I saw was someone that was probably called on by production or somebody to clean that up immediately, because that's just how she feels. That's how she feels. And I don't know, like, you can't just be like, oh, okay, well, that's not what, like, she's just sorry that she got called out on it. She still believes it. So I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that. Anyway, I just don't understand, like, why are they talking to Apollo? Like, why are they trying to frame Phaedra as the messy one when Apollo should have never been invited in the first place? I'm just like, okay, so she brought check. Like, Apollo brought his mistress turned wife turned estranged wife. So they're even. Because let's just say Phaedra came by herself. Like, Apollo's gonna come with his wife, Shireen. Like, that didn't make any sense. Like, either way, Apollo coming was to rattle Phaedra. That was what Heavenly's goal was. Like, she still can't answer the question. Like, why did you invite Apollo? You don't know. I was about to say the N word. You don't know this man at all. But you know Phaedra more, but that's who they chose to talk to over Phaedra. And I don't blame Phaedra. Like, y'all don't give a shit about her. And I'm pretty sure she don't give, like, the feeling is mutual on both sides. But it's still messy. I would be interested to know if Apollo was legally separated from his wife at the time. Well, they were separated during this time. Like, I was looking at it, like, they got together like when he got out of prison, like around 2022. And then they separated a year after. So I don't know, like she said, according to, excuse me, this has me belching. According to her, like, divorce papers or something like that, like, they've been separated for at least a year, and he was just doing what he wanted. And apparently he still went to the strip clubs. He said it himself. So why would he bring Shireen there if they were already separated during the time? They were probably just separated, still living together. I don't know. Exactly. He literally has no connection to the group in any meaningful way. Like, these women are still trying to get to know Phaedra. So what does her ex have to do with it? I get that they're trying to cater to Quad this season since the send-off last season, but to not hold her accountable at all is wild. You said it. You said it. And we will get to that. I'm going to take a break, just looking at the comments, but let me just get a little bit more traction into the episode. So we're now in Phaedra's room, and Jackie is passing by, and she tells Jackie that she's leaving and is disappointed in her, because I think out of the OGs, she trusted her in terms where if shit went down, like, she would have her back in that situation. Like, especially like when Apollo and Shireen were going at it with her. I'm not sure why Phaedra thought Jackie would have her back, because let's be honest, Jackie is just as messy. It's just, she has her bulldog to speak for her as her mouthpiece sometimes. Like, her being besties with Heavenly already shows me Dr. Heavenly's character. It really does. Like, she's shown time and time again that she condones Heavenly's behavior. And Jackie's not the only one. And that's why it's just so blatant with Sweet Tea. Like, Sweet Tea has done nothing to Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly used sweet tea. Well, we'll get to that later. I'm going to get into that later. But Dr. Heavenly used sweet tea and Dr. G. And then you see where they are now. Jackie says she doesn't know Apollo, but she knew inviting Apollo was messy when it was told to her. So I'm not buying the what did I do? What did I do? I'm just, Jackie. Like Phaedra points out that no one came to check on her after her back and forth with Shireen and Apollo. Then we hop back to Heavenly and Simone talking to them, which pretty much proves that they ain't fucking with Phaedra. They don't care how she feels. Like if they really did, they probably like Heavenly would have apologized to Phaedra. Like, oh, well, I'm sorry. I didn't really intend for, Apollo, like my invite to him for things to get messy as they were. I had no idea that he was bringing Shireen. And I'm pretty sure if she has an idea of their relationship, then how come she didn't know the relationship between Shireen and Phaedra? I'm confused as to why also that Apollo and Shireen are leaving. Like, that just goes to show that they were just invited for the mess. Like, they were there just for one day and now they're going to Miami. And I'm guessing like, well, if Phaedra ain't there, what's their purpose of being there, period? So they were clearly there to antagonize and rattle Phaedra. That's just how I feel. Oh, exactly. What about that? She got all the smoke for Dr. G, but let's talk about how, like, Apollo, her good friend, she has not addressed that. She has not addressed that. But look, Heavenly's the type where Apollo, he's a real man to her. A real man, right, Heavenly? He's a real man to you. Put his hands on women, I guess he's still a real man. Just because, he's not interested in other men. I might be doing this shade throughout the video, so I'm going to get my licks in. But yeah, their presence on the trip definitely made me feel the show jumped the shark. Like in these past 2 episodes, it just feels like they're overproducing, trying to create these explosive situations. And it's just too much. And like with these exes, like it's just so messy. Like none of these relationships, like these 2 relationships with past exes, none of them ended amicably. So why would they invite them as well as their significant others or people that they're with onto this platform? So moving on to Phaedra, she tells Jackie she isn't the one to be played with. And they're a bunch of mean girls. I agree. Just from these past few episodes, like no one has really spoken up like, y'all, this is really effed up. And okay, Toya said it, but it was after the fact. And even when it was going on with the mess, Toya just basically struck a match or wasn't making it any better. I just feel because only mean girls would set up these hostile situations, like hoping to get drama out of it. So Phaedra leaves on the PJ, and I'm sure this is the last time she'll be around the ladies as a group. Dr. Jackie believes this isn't a group of mean girls, but that's just because she hasn't been in the hot seat for a while. Because no one has asked you, Dr. Jackie, because if I was Sweet Tea, I probably would have gotten your ass because I know your ass don't like me. I'm speaking of Sweet Tea. Excuse me. Because I would have asked her, so why does Curtis go to the DR so much? Do you go with him? And like it would be messy if Sweet Tea had an event and invited Curtis's mistress to it. That would have been really messy, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, y'all create these scenarios where drama is just going to happen. Heavenly acts like her husband ignoring her is a flex. Dr. Damon not saying anything to her is not a flex or a sign of a real man. A real man would tell you that you are out here looking stupid. Quad, aka Mr. Potato Head, needs to really get a life. Heavenly is using you, and the other girls don't respect you. Heavenly is definitely using Quad too. I agree with that. Like, she's using a lot of people as pawns. Oh, well, you could have checked in season 3 to know that. Curtis' mistress should have gotten a call time. I totally agree. Because I want Jackie to know what it feels like. I want all these ladies, mostly the core 4, or you know what? The core 3, to know what it feels like. Heavenly, Simone, and Jackie, I want them to feel what Sweet Tea is feeling. Because they all don't like her right now. So let's see. So the couples are divided now into men and women separately. They pretty much are all discussing how things got out of control. At least 3 fights at once, y'all, in the last episode. Someone tells Heavenly that Sweet Tea left, and she says, good. Toya is me asking why was Apollo and Shireen invited in the first place, which is what Sweet Tea asked and no one else did. So I'm just like, why is Sweet Tea being blamed for her fight with Heavenly? She's just standing up for herself. Because for some reason, Heavenly has a specific vitriol anytime Sweet Tea confronts her. Anytime. And she always is the first to bring up her husband. And Sweet Tea, she never brings up Damon out of respect for Damon. Like, she could stay on Heavenly, be like, okay, you razorback, big back bitch. You know, like, she'll say that. But, you know, Heavenly, the first thing she'll go to is, oh, your husband. You better go to your husband. You better talk to your husband like that. Yes, I have a Patreon. My Patreon is $5 a month. It is patreon.com/cdiggy1, where you get my unfiltered opinion. You get Pop Roast Extra, which is coming this week. And there's a lot of different content on there. I do specific video requests, everything. So yeah, check it out. I think it's really worth it. I'm a content creator. And look, I try to make sure I give y'all's money worth. I think $5 for a month for access to over 100 videos is definitely a bargain. Just saying. I just feel bad for the girl because she really is on an island by herself. Simone then has the nerve to say that Greg and Quad's post-divorce relationship is worse than what they thought. Worse than what you thought. Y'all didn't get that when y'all invited them on the show. Y'all still welcome them on the show. I'll speak more on that later. The ladies are going to a rum distillery and the men are learning how to roll cigars. Simone is telling the ladies that this is the worst experience she has ever had on a cash trip. But y'all started these fires. You already was told by Heavenly that an explosive situation was going to happen with her inviting Apollo to this. You knew that. So why didn't you put a nip in the bud? Why didn't you do that? You didn't, because you wanted something like that to happen. And why is like, it's just, give me a fucking break. Lord, I'm trying not to curse too much, but I'm just frustrated from this damn show. Like, and why is Simone talking like she's on stage at an open mic night? But the most devastating thing was King and Gregory. Why are you talking like that? Like, we're having a regular conversation. Why was she talking like she was on stage at a spoken word? We know production set this up, but the cast went along with it. Now, are you really telling me that there's no self-producing going on? Really? We can't be that naive. We can't be that naive. Simone sounds like Amanda Seales on her Issa Rae podcast. So we're with the men now, and y'all know my fucks are few when it comes to the men and their opinions. Um, they're talking about the fight. King is lying, and soft-spoken ass Damon is on King's side. That's it. And I'm just like, here's the thing, and I'm just being honest. Rewind to the pool party night. If I were King, I would have checked Quad because you're putting me in a position, like I said earlier, to have to get into it with your ex. He's not speaking to you. Don't speak to him. Like, there's no reason to even turn around. Like, we could talk about that, but I don't know. Like, talking about planning their baby shower and saying, I left that marriage. Why? And then just be like, you know what? I get there's something going on between the two of you, but Dr. G, please don't address her. Just address me. Like, if y'all just like, we can just keep it cordial between the two of us. That's what I think. Like, that in that moment, something could have like really, what's the word I'm looking for? They really could have moved on. There was an opportunity for them to move on, but Quad was drunk in the moment. That's all. King is Nigerian. He ain't mind Quad talking. He wanted that smoke. Why are you up? Why are you that engaged and upset about a marriage you've been out of for 5? Right. It's been 5 years. And clearly, if you're so concerned, then you haven't healed yet. You have not healed yet. And I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying at all, because I'm going to talk about this later. Like, Quad's experience is valid. I never doubted Quad's experience. But I'm saying, if you're going to sign up knowingly to be on a show with your ex, I feel like, and then let's not forget, she went up to her ex and told Sweetie, can I give him a hug? Can I give him a hug? Like, I thought we were over it. But no, like, what happened between that? So I don't know. Like, it just really annoys me that she's not taking any of accountability to this. Like, your ex ain't shit. Let's be clear. But you're not taking part in your role in how things just like you reopen wounds. Let's see. Anywho, Simone brings up Phaedra leaving the trip as well as not coming back to the group because, they're mean girls. And I really think Phaedra does not see it for Simone, Jackie, and Heavenly, like the core three. And to an extent, I don't really think she cares for Quad. I don't think she has anything against Toya, but I think she lumps Toya in with the core three. So the next scene, the couples are doing their last gathering on the trip, which is like a couples therapy with a yellow theme. Toya calls out how none of the sessions have resulted, in anything positive. I need to drink some more of this. I'm sorry. Live show. This stream is brought to you by Celsius, the sour apple cherry. So good. So good. Anywho, so Toya calls out how none of the sessions have resulted in anything positive, and Eugene suggests they do like Damon and Heavenly and just say everything is perfect, because we know Heavenly gets away with not saying shit about her marriage. Yet, all she needs to do is create little fires everywhere, and her job is safe. That's how that works on this show. In Contessa's car, she calls Sweet Tea and Greg to check in on them, and Greg is giving his account on what had happened. I know, I don't do it in excess. If you do anything in excess, it's bad for you. Newsflash. Just say it. I need energy in order to do this. I'm sure coffee every day isn't good for you. I do these 3 times a week. It is what it is. But thank you. But yeah, I don't see how Greg and Sweet Tea can return to the group. And a little bit, I'm kind of side-eyeing Contessa because it seems like she's just back in the motions of the group. She's even having conversations with Heavenly now. And it feels like since Contessa is good with the group, she's kind of distancing herself just a little bit from Sweet Tea. I'm just noticing that. That's all. So only people effing with her are, well, Sweet Tea, the only people that are effing with her are the friends of Mimi and Contessa, and then Toya to an extent. But Toya would definitely not stick her neck out for Sweet Tea. I don't believe that for a second. I really think she shouldn't come back because there's no friendship anchor that she has to anybody on the show. Like, I like Sweet Tea. I don't think she deserves the type of vitriol that she gets from the cast members as well as the fans. Like, from the fans' perspective, I just think so many people like Quad, and the fact that they think Sweet Tea is like, country or not pretty or, I guess not rich. Like, it's just, I hate that everyone's jumping on her because she really has not done anything. That's just how I feel. Speaking of Sweet Tea, we're now with her and Dr. G at home discussing the events that happened. And y'all, this scene was so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. I didn't even want to watch it on my second watch. Like, from the blatant misogyny to the very clear verbal abuse and gaslighting. I didn't like it at all. And before we get into it, I just want to say, again, 2 things can be true. I still don't believe Greg is at fault overall for the skirmish, but the way he addressed Sweet Tea was unacceptable. Unacceptable. Like, I think she should run while she has the chance. Or like maybe they need to go to therapy or something, but in the current stage of what I'm seeing, girl, you need to get out of that relationship because you're going to end up just like Quad. Also, I want to say that I believe Quad's experience. I, again, never doubted her, but the way she acts around him and feeling the need to show off King like a prize pig proves that she hasn't healed yet. And shame on Bravo, as well as the other ladies, for ushering her ex in, knowing full well there was unresolved trauma there. Unresolved trauma, but still invited them on the show regardless. Anyway, back to this awful scene. Now, I'm not going to say all that. I don't think so. I think that would have definitely made headline news. Did anybody else hear that? I'm not going to say all that. Because I think he would have been off the show immediately. But yeah, Greg goes off when Sweet Tea disagrees with him about if Check wasn't there, it would have been a fight to the death. Like, she disagreed, and I agree with her. I'm like, sir, he's on TV. Production would have like broken it up. The other men would have dragged y'all off of each other. Like, okay, I don't think it would have been that bad, but somebody would have connected, but nobody was going to be unalived. That's all I'm saying. She says, she would have been there, and he was just like, what were you going to do? And she's telling him that, well, I'm combat trained and ready. And he's like, well, you still a woman. And he just like slurp his drink like all knowingly. Like, he calls her naive. He's patronizing her. And also with this whole chauvinist bullshit, like if you're going to be mad at Dr. G for that, please be like reserve that for the other men too. because all of the husbands, with the exception of Eugene, excuse me, are male chauvinists. That's what I'm saying. Like, I've watched this show since the first season. Those men are like, they have some toxic masculinity anytime they're together and they're talking about the women. So I wasn't surprised how I'm not surprised how Dr. G reacted, because most of them are male chauvinists, especially Dr. Damon Daddy. Like, they think women are second class citizens to men. They still think that. This 1950s logic. Anywho, he gets a tantrum and storms upstairs. She follows him, and his dumb ass should have known that the mics were still on, but he continues berating her, and then even sounds like he's threatening her. Like, who are you talking to? You're not gonna get this. Like, I think he said, you're not gonna like the reaction that I have, or something like that. I didn't like that. Present day, it looks like the two of them are fine, but I can't wait to see the reunion about how he explains that, or how she explains that, because that was just unacceptable. Like, I think she shouldn't even be in that relationship. Like, who are her family and her friends? Y'all, we almost have 300 people in the room. I cannot believe it. 7 more people, please come in the chat. Please. Give me the 300 people. That is the most, I think, for a review I've ever had. I think. Anywho, now we're back on this damn couples trip. I want Simone to shut the hell up with this kumbaya bullshit. So they're in like this open grass area with the self-service bar, ready to talk about relationships. The question is, how do you feel about exes in the group? I'm rolling my eyes heavy because there are no longer any exes there. So why are we talking about it? Let's talk about y'all's respective relationships, since the side shows for y'all are gone. Let me read some opinions. Let's see. He did not do that. Y'all got to stop. Dr. G was probably getting irritated at T for saying that she's combative trained, i.e. she could beat his... Yeah. Quad rich. That's laughable. She has a hefty $17K monthly mortgage. She's, in my opinion, is angry because no matter what no one says, because has security. Quad is flogging. Let's see. He definitely does give that energy. He just meant he would fight for Quad to the death is how I took it. I'm so sorry, but the way someone just lied about a slap has me wheezing. Look, that's crazy. Like, I just think that's wild. But hey, that's opinions in the chat. Also, yeah, that's also concerning. Why is the psychiatrist acting like that? Like, he definitely is losing patience if I watch this. Somebody said on the internet that Dr. G no longer has that job at the hospital. Let's see. I'm just surprised by Sweet Tea. She has a daddy. She should know better than to take this type of BS from any man. I agree. Let's see. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. They were trying to vote Greg and T out of the group. Is that what that whole circle thing was about? I feel sorry for any woman who doesn't see that Dr. G is abusive. Well, look, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just talking about what I'm seeing in the moment with how he's handling situations outside of the relationship. Because in the relationship standpoint, I think he ain't shit. He's a male chauvinist. He's an asshole. And I'm not sure why she's with him. Because I think she deserves better. But maybe she loves him. So, for the topic at hand about the exes, I thought Mimi, as a psychiatrist, she made some great points. None of these people who used to be in relationships have done the work to be in a space where they can peacefully coexist. Like, they could have left it at that and called it a night. Like, but they keep going talking about this exes shit. Like, I thought they were going to be talking about therapy as opposed to their personal relationships. No one talked about their relationship in this last 15 minutes. So Toya wants to speak, and at least she's holding the group accountable to the fact that, yes, they can be mean girls and they can do some effed up shit. Hell, one of the ex-cast members accused her, Toya, of being affiliated with a home robbery. Like, that is crazy how it got to that point. Like, where you're trying to get somebody locked up. Y'all know what I'm talking about if you saw 2 seasons ago. Heavenly says she was wrong to bring the ex around and not consider Quad's feelings. The truth of the matter, though, is if we're being all the way real, if Sweet Tea and Greg didn't come on last season, Quad would have been off the show. Period. Like, I think Heavenly used Sweet Tea and Greg as pawns so production would find a reason to keep Quad on the show. Because I think Quad and Heavenly, they're still cool. And I think Heavenly definitely feel like the show needed Quad. So she's like, oh, well, they're definitely going to need Quad if they're going to bring back her ex. Yeah, because Quad has no plot line if Sweet Tea and Greg wasn't on the show last season. It is what it is. So also in this scene, Heavenly said, don't bring no exes around me. Like, when she was agreeing with Jackie, and I'm just like, girl, you invited Apollo and his wife to the trip as a surprise. But she's like, don't invite no exes around me, but she can invite other people's exes. Shut the F up. Shut the F up. Like, this woman is so full of shit on this show. And I can say in real life too, because I'm saying it right here. If I was invited on Heavenly's show again, I think I would decline, because you're not going to use me if you don't think I'm a real ass man. Anyway, I'm realer than her damn husband. So then nobody said anything to disagree with on Heavenly. And again, they just condone her nasty behavior. We got 300 people in the chat. Make sure you like the video. I'm sorry, but I just thought this whole scene was bullshit. None of the fights that happened on the sandbar had to happen and played out as a result of the messiness from the group of people that are currently speaking. That's why I just thought this whole fake circle jerk of support amongst the couples is bullshit to me. So it's done finally. The cast trip is over. They all wonder how things are going to move forward once they get back to Atlanta, and that is where the episode ends. That's where it ends. I didn't care for this episode, y'all. I'm going to just be honest, because it was frustrating. It wasn't fun, and it got dark. It just reminded me of the last season of Potomac. Like, in the last 3 or so episodes, I feel like they've lost the plot. They've gone to a place where it's just these explosive situations where people have toxic, like, relationships with each other. Like, I don't like looking at that because I don't find it funny. Like, they were finding stuff where, Greg and Quad were, like, going at it. Like, I don't find that funny. I don't find it funny, Sweet Tea and Heavenly going at it, because Heavenly doesn't respect the girl and she's basically bullying her. So I don't like it. Cecil's female best friend, Curtis's airport mistress, need to be invited by Sweet Tea to a group event. Exactly. I totally agree. She has free range to do that. Because there was, again, no reason for Apollo and Shireen to be on the show. None. Let's see. Sweet Tea, I think she should not return to this show. I don't know where the show is going to go after this season, because I feel like Simone, what is her story right now? Jackie, there's no story there. Heavenly, she's just creating again little fires everywhere. Toya, um, she's just keeping up with the mess. She's just calling shit out as she sees it. And then outside of that, what there's Contessa, you got Mimi. Like, I'm just tired of the whole exes saga. We need to put a pin in it. Like, I'm done with it. Like, cast members are just coasting off of other people's drama. And it's not fun. Like, I didn't know anything else about Simone, what's going on in Heavenly's life. Like, I'm wondering, like, they just need to end the season right now. I hate how you using Elaine. I think Elaine, Jackie, and Simone should not return to this show. I don't know. I do think it may be time for like a refresher, because what else is there to talk about in this group? Like, it's just getting stale to me. And I had hope in the beginning of the season. It was getting good. It was getting good until I think they invited Apollo and Shireen. Because now they're just trying to create different scenarios. Anyway, I gave this episode a 6 out of 10. I'm not sure if I want the show to be canceled, but it's just so much toxicity now. Like with the bullying, like clearly the relationship dynamics in the show, like the whole Dr. G and Sweet Tea dynamic. I don't like that. I don't know. I don't like it. Let's see. Chris, Heavenly says she did want Greg and Sweet Tea to come for a storyline for Quad. Heavenly did not feel anything is wrong about Apollo because Apollo told Phaedra he was coming. It doesn't matter if Apollo told Phaedra he was coming. It does not matter. Why do you think it was a good idea to invite Apollo on the trip in the first place? That was not answered. I don't care that you asked Phaedra, why do you think Apollo being on this trip was going to be a good idea? Why did you think it was going to be a good idea? Y'all should have just let Phaedra come with her rent-a-man or her man of the moment and leave it like that. Let's see. Yeah, I totally agree. Like, I like Sweet Tea, but again, I don't think she should come back. Because she's just putting herself in a toxic situation. And I don't want to see her get, like, I don't want to see 5 women on one person who clearly can't defend themselves. It'll be different if Sweet Tea was cut out for this, but she already failed her test on Watch What Happens Live. She can't even come up with good shade on the fly or on the spot. So it's just cringe seeing her trying to, like, paddle. Like, it looked like she can barely swim, like just neck above the water. She's sinking, and I don't want to see that from her. Anywho, y'all, that was my review. I know that a lot of people might disagree with my opinions, but keep it cute in the comments. So yeah, I enjoyed this. I'm glad we got over 300 people in the chat at one point. So yeah, with that, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.